We're going to go ahead and do a reading specifically for twin flames, for the divine feminine and the divine masculine, to see what is going on. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. I want to just do 2 spreads and we're going to tap into past lives, but I want to remind you this is just a general collective reading, and as are all of my videos, if you want to know about your specific situation, you have to do a one-on-one individual reading. So this is collective work. The reason why you resonate when I do collective videos is because oftentimes there's a lot of different things that a lot of different people are all experiencing at the same time, and these are deeper collective patterns and things kind of coming up, or you'll find a resonance with it. But if you're wanting one-on-one guidance on your specific situation, make sure that you are booking a twin flame reading on my website. I also do other type of readings as well too. I'm an energy healer and I have a ton of healings, clearings, and activations on there, which will really help you on your journey. I also do twin flame coaching, which is great for helping you through the process no matter where you're at with it. So make sure you guys are booking me on my website if you need me. We're going to do 2 little spreads today. I just wanted to do something different and kind of see what's going on for you and your twin flames. So we're going to do 2 separate reads very fast. We're going to do one for the divine feminine side and one for the divine masculine side. Now I want to see how these past life, we'll get to issues, but I want to say that past life things are affecting you here in the now. So I'm going to go ahead and tap in on that level and just see what's going on. The reason why is because we have a Capricorn moon, and this moon is full of Saturn light codes. Okay, that has a lot to do with your soul contracts, especially for twin flames and what is going on. So sometimes obviously we hold trauma from this lifetime, but we came here with trauma to be worked out too. That's the nature of karma and things that we experience, especially in childhood and things like that, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and do a nice little spread, but encouraging you guys to book me on my website if you need me. Okay, so, and we're going to dive into this. This is like going to be a lot, but I'll put it out there. Okay, divine feminine side. We're going to start with you and see what is going on, okay? And then I've brought a nice little spread. We'll go into this, okay? So, now this is a powerful connection with this person. They might have come in very unexpected into your life in this time. Now, we touch lives or cross course with our twin flame in many different lifetimes, okay? The universe is always trying to bring you together to integrate this, I don't want to call it a piece, but this same portion of your soul, to bring you back together and to integrate certain things or to work through certain lessons. It's a little bit like if you have 2, we'll call them split, 2 separate souls, and you go ahead and you have your own lessons and things like that. A lot of you guys have had your own experiences and your own lessons, and when you come back together at any point in any lifetime, it's like you're suddenly merging energy, exchanging data, and there's a lot that happens on the energy level with these types of connections too. So this is a very powerful past life connection as it's kind of showing. And we have a lot of elements, divine feminine, around your side of things on divine timing and karma and Saturn energy and, the timing with this connection. And so for those of you guys that are navigating any type of separation, the energy was not smooth then. And I encourage you to dive into why or the elements around that. But most importantly, to use this to work on your own healing. You don't want to stop working on your healing, obviously, because ascension is such a big thing that we have the chance to experience like never before. And so it's a little bit like if we don't get on the ascension boat, we're not going, if you didn't notice. And there's like this stuff happening dimensionally. So we want to, the most important thing on the planet during this time is just working on yourself, your healing, and your own ascension. And your twin flame is always going to kind of meet you there too. And so we really have this. It's showing that you had powerful past lives. And it's showing me this. You had very powerful past lives on the divine feminine side, and you still hold these powerful keys, whether this is knowledge, wisdom, things you understand, things you're going to integrate, and this is very much like gatekeeper energy and things like this. Now, your divine masculine had many past lives too. He might be someone that prefers in this lifetime. This could mirror these past lives, where in past lives, he spent a lot of time in solitude. He spent a lot of time working working with nature, the elements, and even energy, okay? So this is someone that in this lifetime should be very aware of energy and things like this. Now, sometimes some of you guys might have partners or twin flames that some of them might be a little bit more, we'll say, matrix or asleep. Some of them might be really, really awakened. It just kind of depends on everyone. Sorry, my cat's really, okay. It might just kind of depend on where you're at with this too. So this is someone that is aware of energy. They feel your energy very, very deeply, okay? So this is a good thing. It means when you're in alignment and when you're in harmony, they probably are, you know, you're gonna notice they're around you more, they're hanging out with you, not in the best frequency, they're not around, they disappear. Your twin flame is never someone that you can manipulate, not that you'd want to, but they're probably gonna come in and out of your reality if you're not ready until you're ready. It just kind of depends on how. So we have this person has been around with you since the beginning of time, really, since the beginning that your soul was made, and you have this powerful history together. But this is very highly charged energy when I'm tapping into it, and we're going to see a little bit more of what's going on with this. So now on the divine feminine side, you've had karmic connections that were very not good. And I always talk about these might be even previous connections from past lifetimes as well too. So oftentimes you might have felt some of these were fated, or this was your person, or, you know, it was very intense, very fast. But you might notice that some of your relationships, and this could be patterns and dynamics, they had a very karmic nature in this lifetime. And so this might be affecting your twin flame relationship right now, because literally with this karmic kind of energy, well, sometimes you might carry karmic wounds, traumas, blocks, things that you need to work out and better balance and integrate. We all have things that we're working on karmically, but some of your karma in this lifetime might be centered around relationships. This might be something that you need to heal and you need to balance if you haven't had the best previous relationships either. And this is a big thing that's coming up during this time too, because it can affect, you know, things within the twin flame dynamic and stuff like that. And we're going to go a little bit deeper. And I want to with these cards, I'm just making sure I got another one here. Let's see. Okay. So, okay. Now this is something that may, when we go into this wormhole, okay, this is something that you've had to deal with in past lifetimes, but obviously it affects you here in the now. I describe it like a ricochet or an echo, and sometimes these things kind of can come back up. And so some of the experiences in your life, sometimes when we feel deeper feelings or emotions, whether with our twin flame in that situation or other situations, it's because a lot exists underneath the surface. Even if you don't remember it in this lifetime, it's there, it's happened. You know, you might even hold karmic imprints for it too. So you had many karmic relationships, and some of the ones in this lifetime that you went through mirrored things from previous lifetimes that were not great that you may have been through, okay? And you might still be healing from that on some type of level, because we have that, okay? We're going to get into that in a minute. So we have imprisonment or slavery, and this is a huge thing. And sometimes we think it's like straightforward, but it is a noise, right? Sorry, I'm getting the cards even. Okay, sometimes we think it's straightforward, but it isn't. This is actually your mind and how you've kept yourself locked away or small, or sometimes when we're living in fear, we're not truly experiencing life. And so this could just be fear that's keeping you held down or held back, but this could be the actual thing, because I love this. And we have the medicine woman healer. In past lifetimes, some of you guys carry very deep persecution and witch wound imprints, I call them. This is where you may have had lifetimes where you were, you know, I don't want to say it, locked away or even killed for your gifts, for your magic, as an attempt to conform you. Especially this is very common with women and things like this. And so you hold these type of imprints on some type of level, whether this is actual lifetimes. I had some, and I always try to put this together, but a lot of you guys, if you read my books, you know this, that I had experiences in this lifetime that I didn't understand until many years later. They were mirroring galactic past lifetimes that I had had. And so when you go through the experience, sometimes you don't have, as we talked about the keys for the divine feminine, sometimes you don't have all the pieces or the keys till later. And so this could mirror things in your life too. And sometimes it wasn't as obvious as being thrown into prison cell. Sometimes it was more ways the divine feminine was kept through bad relationships, marriages. We still see this echoing through the collective, or, you know, in, I don't want to say stale marriages or toxic marriages that weren't serving them and they felt there was no way out, or they weren't allowed to get a divorce and that was just the way things were. And so sometimes, you know, it could be imprisoned by the material. You might have had everything in a relationship and that might have kept you stuck instead of, you know, rising out of it. It just kind of depends on this too. And then of course we have our modern day. Some of you guys might even feel remnants of that from past lifetimes of society and where we're living and things like this too. But you have so much healing magic and abilities within your own soul story, I call it, waiting for you to activate and unlock this and tap into this. And so for some, this could be healing apprentice, learning how to heal. I'm like, get out of me, right? Learning how to heal and like going into that. I have beautiful, you know, stuff on my site for that. But maybe some of you guys are really being guided to explore some of this stuff and to tap into it. And you could even be at all different levels. We have some newbies like, what is she talking about? And some of you guys have been, you know, on this journey for a while and you're like, oh yeah. Like, right? So everyone's at different places with it, but you hold so much of this medicine and you got a lot of it. Some of it wasn't in traditional school. Maybe you did go there, but it was actually from your life experiences and challenges that have made you wise. But we're diving into past lifetimes from so many past lifetimes that, you know, you were preparing for this. You had certain lessons and things, but you also hold the keys to help to free people from some of these lessons too. Now I'm going to go into this. Some of you divine feminines carry a massive abandonment wound that you're not even aware of, that was subtly playing out in these karmic connections and soulmate connections of your past, and your divine masculine is really friggin' triggering that in some type of way. And usually you're not aware of it until you get into the twin flame work, and this is coming up again because we have this. And so for some, that abandonment didn't start in your relationships. It might have started in your childhood and even in past lifetimes. Some of you experienced death or loss of a parent, abandonment by your parent, and this could be for many different reasons. We see this all of the time too. This could be anchored with different things. So for some, it could be connected with your feminine line, and you know, sometimes your mother may have been mistreated and you may have been too, or it could have been life circumstances where one or both of your parents died or abandoned you, and you know, whatever it is too. And I mean at a young age oftentimes too. So this is present there, which is now here coming up as abandonment wounds and feeling of not feeling good enough, unworthiness and rejection. And so all it takes is going through one of these karmic relationships ending and it triggers a lot, or all it takes is a twin flame separation to kick this in, and you might feel things coming up, and it could be ways you don't feel lovable, or you know, that I see a lot of people struggling with the nervous system after going through a high level of trauma and things like that too. So it's about healing that. So this could be, it depends on what that is. It can be root chakra, heart chakra, different for everyone, but this is why some of your life lessons are needed to re-trigger, because this is what twin flame does. It tends to re-trigger things so that you can heal these things and let go of them once and for all. We're not just healing from this lifetime, we're healing from many, many different lifetimes. Now, I want to go a little bit deeper. For some, your twin flame is triggering this because you had lifetimes where it didn't work out with them. And I think you could see that in this lifetime for the ones that are struggling through the process. And that's why I always say get some help when you are. Don't let it get too bad. Get some help with it for sure to shift it. But in there were past lifetimes where it didn't go good. And that sometimes when we meet a person and we're thinking it's for the first time in this lifetime, it brings back feelings. So, you know, you could constantly be afraid that this person is going to leave you, or you're not feeling good enough for this person, but in a past lifetime they really did leave you. And this is why when you meet again and when you pick up the relationship where you left off, some of these feelings remain. And so sometimes people can have these deeper feelings and emotions and they don't understand where they come from, right? And sometimes they're coming from a deeper level, okay? The more you're working on yourself energetically, you're going to be so successful in anything that you're doing right now. And this is like personally, energetically, and professionally, especially the more that you're taking responsibility for your own healing and your own patterns. That's today's energy big time, and things like that. So you've had a lot of betrayal to see. I was going to go on the list. Family betrayal, friendship betrayal, partner betrayal. We could go on. And I don't even know that some people understand how extreme this has been, because most people don't notice and have normalized the high amount of trauma that you've been through, the high amount of abandonment and pain and trauma and suffering that you've been through. And so you've been through a lot. You're suddenly waking up and becoming aware so that you're not letting people manipulate you. You're not letting people control you anymore. You're not letting people feed on your energy. And some people are not liking that as you're taking back your power and things like that too. So you've been through a lot. Now, sometimes when you've been through all of this stuff, it can leave you a little bit guarded, okay, closed off. It's very important that you're healing and letting the right people in, because this is what's going to help you to reach that level of success, by having the right connections in. I know. And so it's like, okay, so you're holding on to something, and this could be for different things, but this is a twin flame reading. We want to dive into what's going on with this situation. So right now, everything in your life has led you to this love and healing and miracles, working with Archangel Raphael, overall healing. So in this current, now we're going to flip gears for Divine Feminine and see how this might be affecting you now. We see, you're seeing through the matrix. This is my seeing through the matrix, but there's deception and envy. This might have left you with, sometimes we see control issues that's coming up with this Capricorn moon, jealousy, and things like that too. And so sometimes jealousy isn't like sitting there giving the evil eye. It could be giving the evil eye. It's actually insecurity within yourself and thinking, this person might find someone better or leave me. And so sometimes this is the root. So you're healing some type of root things from this, from having gone through things in your past, but you're going to be celebrating soon. So this is my new beginning and new energy coming in. And I love it because it's like a new start. And so it doesn't matter where you're at in the twin flame journey or the twin flame process, there's going to be new energy coming in. And this could be a new cycle. And some people don't realize you guys have to close out the old cycle when you go through these cycles, because at different places, you're going to have to heal certain things. That's why when I designed my own twin flame coaching system, it's because I saw the different layers that people were passing through. I'm like, oh, welcome to this stage. Different stages. Yeah, energetically and healing. And I saw a lot coming up to help people so that they didn't have to act out or play out some of these situations with their twin flame, and they could kind of dive into themselves and do the self work and things like that, so it doesn't continue to come up in these relationships. So there's a karmic undertone or karmic nature to the Divine Feminine's relationships. This could be some of you guys had previous karmic relationships and you picked up a lot of negative patterns and coding from these connections, or could have been your own stuff you're working out. Just kind of depends. Okay, so we're going to do Divine Masculine side of things. Divine Masculine, we're going to dive into the past lives. This person, they were committed to you in past lives. They were romantic with you. They were committed with you. They know you from many past lifetimes, and you probably get that sense when you met them in this lifetime of just how important this connection is to your spiritual awakening or your purpose or your mission or something like that too. So this person was very good with their hands and things like that. And they might be in this lifetime too. They might be someone who's very multitasker, does a lot, or, staying busy and things like that too. This could be like actually making things, or just jack of all trades, or having a certain trade. Okay, there's some type of ego issues that are coming up from past lifetimes though that still might be affecting this relationship. And this is program beliefs from past lifetimes. We carry a lot when we talk about consciousness and the soul and things like that too. And so, this person in past lifetimes might have been a little bit in the ego or in the masculine. So when we look at the ego attainments, it's like material, status, family, things like that. So there might have been some of these issues in past lifetimes, especially if you're experiencing them in the now. Okay, so they have a very strong angel connection. We have Archangel Gabriel. They're very connected with the angels. We have this card coming up again, but they're also very connected with Archangel Gabriel. We have two of the same cards about Archangel Gabriel. So they're very connected. And so when I see this, obviously this is a past life reading. So this is a past life connection, but this could even be in their family line, in their DNA. Some of you guys are carrying, things from the angel lines and things like that. And I mean that in a positive way. And so they have this connection specifically with Archangel Gabriel, and you might see that where they're very spiritual in this lifetime. you know, this could be through prayer, talking to the angels, getting downloads, wisdom. This might be someone that you turn to when you need advice or when you need something or when you can get open about your struggles or things going on. They can really, really help to guide you and lead you. They have that very strong angel connection. So, okay, we're going to do, they've been getting a lot of lessons and blessings. They have a lot of family, we call them family line curses, that a lot of you guys, this was no joke what you took on coming to the planet in this lifetime, and you took on so much. So there's just a lot coming up. They've had a very hard path prior to meeting you. They've done a lot of work or self-work to pull themselves out of it and get where they are too. This is powerful. Okay, so this is, you had past lifetimes with this person, and some of these were very, you know, you've done family life with them. You've literally done it. You've done Atlantis with them, and this is where some of the fracture comes from, and where some of the things that are playing out nowadays come from on the spiritual and the soul level, and stuff like that too, and not choosing a good path. And, you know, we're here to correct that in the now. Some of you guys have literally lost track of this person for a really long time since then. This is where if you're navigating karmics, well, we all have prior to meeting, but so prior to meeting or even together, there's been other connections in the way. These oftentimes go back to past lifetimes, or you guys have a karmic debt to this person or owe something out or need to finish something up. This is where the original karmics came in between the flames way back then. So not everyone, some of you guys are dealing with that, okay? And you guys have been to service together. You guys have done some type of mission. Maybe that's being mirrored in this incarnation where you're being guided to do some type of mission. And usually it doesn't have to be, but one of you guys can find a mission, the other might inspire them or vice versa. So you guys have done something powerful together, and things like that. Okay, this masculine has had many past lifetimes, as all of the masculines, literally sitting by themselves and going within. It's the awakening energy. It's the hermit energy. And they had lifetimes where they knew that they lost you and that they didn't connect with other people, and that they had lack of connection themselves. For some, this is being mirrored back currently in their lives where, you know, they're feeling that. They might have connection issues now and things like that too. And so you guys find each other. You guys are not just lovers. You've been married in many past lives. You might even in this lifetime. It just kind of depends. But for a lot of twin flames, that's coming up now. And it could be a sore subject if you've had previous karmic experiences in this lifetime or past lifetimes. It just kind of depends, and things like that too. They've surrendered their ego. They've gone through this ego death. They've gone through this awakening. This person is a starseed. They are an indigo soul. And so they probably don't like when divine feminine gets in the lower of the manipulation, control, telling them what to do. But it also goes for not being able to be themselves. So they're not going to like a divine feminine telling them they need to fix this and change this and heal this. A lot of divine feminines do that. And they're not here for that. They're here to be authentic and be themselves. So they might not like that, right? This is something that they carry from previous lifetimes and things like that too. This is someone who's comfortable by themselves. They've done the work to be able to sit by themselves, and they actually enjoy it. And you might notice that they find time to retreat or to withdraw or spend time by themselves, whether this is, I don't want to say force, whether this is part of their spiritual awakening or they just want to, and that this is someone who gets on fine by themselves. Some people struggle with that. Some people are really good at it, right? They're emotionally balanced, mature, regulated. They're okay sitting by themselves, and it just kind of depends. So we have all of these themes coming up, and this is going to be mirrored in this lifetime too, especially if you guys have had to go through separation or time apart, and you know, they might be finding themselves or healing in that space or doing the work. For some in union, this is like marriage coming up big time, okay? All right, I'm going on that note. Have a beautiful day. If you guys do need me and you want to dive into your own personal situation, just go ahead and book a session on my website. I have tons of healings on there too. I'm always trying to get you guys to do more healings and activation work. Check them out. I have lots of nice stuff on my site right now.